The year was 1964. President Lyndon Baines Johnson declares his war on poverty. The Surgeon General issues a report saying that smoking may be hazardous. The Beatles make their first appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. Plans are announced to construct the World Trade Center in New York City. The Warren Commission issues its report and finds that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The Cardinals beat the Yankees to win the World Series. The Civil Rights Act is signed into law. And the Illinois Association of School Administrators ends its affiliation with the Illinois Education Association and becomes a standalone statewide association representing school superintendents and other school administrators.
If you look back over the time that IASA has been in existence, you've seen programs and services greatly expand. And so I think that's our goal. Is as a member organization, and we're representing school administrators across the state, is we should have programs and services that help support the individual members in their role as a professional, and also to some capacity in their role as a person, as you're growing and making it through challenging days of being a superintendent.
To me, the most important thing that anyone should want to know about the IASA is that we provide moral support for a very tough and sometimes very lonely job. We provide technical information so that that job can be done. And we provide a networking of individuals throughout the state that will help a person not just make it through the day, but make it through the day, make it through the year, make it through their career in a way that when they leave, they can feel really good about what it is that they've done and know that the IASA was a part of it.
The first executive director, Gerald W. Smith, former superintendent of schools in Elmwood Park, took over on July 1st, 1960, and also served in a dual capacity as the administrative relations director of the IEA. In 1964, the IEA and the IASA ended their parent-affiliate business relationship, and the IASA was born as a standalone statewide association. Smith was still the executive director, succeeded in 1966 by Roy Baker for a 3-year period.
And so here we were, a group of 1,000 some odd superintendents in the state that had a desk, a typewriter, a file cabinet, and a fellow who used to work for the IEA, and he became our executive director. And I got to tell you that the reason that it survived was on the personality strength of some of the superintendents back in those days.
Dr. John Wargo became IASA's executive director in 1969 and served in that position for the next 23 years, making him the longest-serving executive director. Dr. Wargo helped lay the foundation for what the association would grow to become.
When I think of John Wargo, I think of the fellow that took a hold of the association when it was still in its infancy, took it through its adolescence into a mature organization to the point where when anybody thought of executive level organizations for school administrators in the state, they immediately thought of the IASA. It was clear to me as a district superintendent that the IASA had a presence within the General Assembly, in the Governor's Office, in the State Board of Education, that we in fact were an influential organization. Small as we were in membership and in budget too, for that matter, we were somebody to be reckoned with when we were talking about policy level things for education. And John was the reason for it. Just a dynamic personality and a dynamic person.
Dr. Walt Warfield became executive director in 1992 and served in that capacity for 14 years, guiding the association through a period of sustained growth and financial stability. Milestones in IASA's history include employing a full-time attorney in 1993, formation of the Illinois Statewide School Management Alliance between IASA, the Illinois Association of School Boards, the Illinois Association of School Business Officials, and the Illinois Principals Association in 1993, the purchase of its first building in 1994, establishment of the Illinois Education Job Bank in 1999, adding a full-time director of government relations in 2004.
I think Walt did just a tremendous job. I remember meeting Walt for the first time. It was at my, some of my first IASA meetings, and he was a distinguishing-looking guy. And he came in, and I was a young whippersnapper, if you will, learning to be a superintendent. I met him and was immediately impressed with just his presence and his knowledge. I think a lot of people look at what we've done in the last few years and say, "Wow, you guys have really taken off." But the truth is this, we couldn't have taken off if he hadn't have built the airport and the runway. In fact, maybe given us the airplane.
Dr. Brent Clark succeeded Dr. Warfield, and Dr. Clark has helped steer the association through a period of expansion of services for members. Milestones in IASA's history include adding a full-time Associate Director of Professional Development in 2007, moving into a new office complex in Springfield in 2008, launching the IASA School for Advanced Leadership, or ISAL, in 2010, adding a full-time Director of Communications in 2011, opening field offices in Schaumburg and Marion, and hiring 3 field service directors in 2012.
Brent was the hands-down choice for the new executive director, and from day one, he has amazed and bewildered me at how really good he is at this job. I've seen a growing sophistication of all the programs that we had going. They are more precise, they are more efficient, they are more effective, and that is in direct proportion to the needs of the superintendent.
So really I had 3 things, and I called them the 3 Ps. So it was improve professional development, improve political activism, and drive a better case for public relations. So I called it the 3 Ps.
Perhaps the most ambitious initiative ever undertaken by IASA. Vision 2020 will provide a roadmap for public education in Illinois, developed by Illinois educators for Illinois educators.
Vision 2020 is an attempt to put IASA and the other partners that have joined with us, and we've had some tremendous partnerships on this, but it's an attempt to put us all in a position to not only be against certain things, and we're real good at knowing what we're against, but let us know, in fact, these are the things we're for, so that when we're in those legislative, in that legislative environment, that advocacy question comes up, and there's a suggestion made, we can say, no, that's not a good idea, but here is a good idea.
Today, the IASA stands as one of the nation's largest associations for school administrators, with more than 1,700 members. The association has grown from infancy to its current position as a strong leader for the school superintendent's profession and a powerful advocate for public education.
In the last 5 or 10 years, we've been through some very difficult times in education, and I think the association is well represented. The membership and the whole goal of the membership, to improve education in Illinois.
Over the course of 50 years, there's probably a range of things. If we had to narrow down those things that were most effective, I think it's probably advocacy, it's awareness, it's showing the importance of the voice of people in the legislative process. So often people think that their voice doesn't count, and it's easy to get that way with the way politics turn. But the truth is, people's voice, it does count.
The needs of public education have been so wide and so varied that it takes an organization which is willing to take on all of those challenges. We've dealt with financial crises over the years. We've dealt with curriculum and instruction issues. We've dealt with school district organization and reorganization throughout the state. We've had legislative crises over the years, and the association has been a factor in the outcome of all of those things that has really allowed us to sit here and say with confidence and with a great deal of pride that schools are better today than they've ever been before.
A lot has changed in 50 years, including a new logo introduced as part of the IASA's Golden Anniversary. But one thing has not changed. The Illinois Association of School Administrators remains focused on and guided by its vision statement: maximum educational success for all students.
And what we want to be able to do is make sure that every student that graces the schoolhouse door of a public school district in Illinois is able to succeed at that individual's maximum capacity.
It's a big statement, right? It's a short statement with a big meaning. We actually are attempting to look out for every kid in this state. And in public schools, it's kind of the way it goes. I mean, we take people that show up at our doors, and we take them from where they're at and build them into a future citizen for our society. And we don't cull them based on their height or their weight or their skin color or the shirt size or whatever, or even their economic background. I mean, we just take whoever shows up and we work with them. So I think it's very important that we have that as our mantra, that it's maximum success for all students. I think that's important, and it continues to underpin our real work and keep the focus on the kids.